Shirley Phelps is here today with two of her 11 children, Megan, who's 20, and Rebecca, who is 19. So Shirley, I just have to ask you, why do you hate homosexuals so much?
Well, that's a faulty proposition and a misstatement of the facts. I probably love them more than anyone sitting in this room. I love them enough to tell them that their sin is taking them to hell, and if they don't repent and stop living that lifestyle, they're going to hell.
So you say you love homosexuals?
Well, hon, that's the only, if you're going to have a standard for love, why don't you draw on God's standard? Because that is, after all, the only standard that matters.
Okay, talk about the tsunami, 9/11, and Hurricane Katrina. You said that you rejoiced
and
in
dead soldiers and IEDs. Thank God for 9/11. Thank God for Katrina.
Tell me why.
Thank God for the tsunami.
Why?
Because you're supposed to thank God for all of his righteous judgments. All of those judgments. It says the righteous will rejoice when they see the judgment of God executed upon a rebellious, disobedient, perverse nation. America has sinned away her day of grace. The wrath of God is pouring out upon this nation.
The Swedes, you said something about that. There's a lot of, during the tsunami, in where the tsunami was located, there were a lot of Swedish people taking vacation. And that was a good thing because they died because what?
Well, it was a disproportionately large number compared to their population of people from Sweden who were killed in that. Over there trafficking in those flesh pots, where they have sex with little children and things of that nature. We'd been having some discussions with the Swedes for quite a while.
Because you're saying what, there's a lot of Swedish gay people? Is
well, we got into it with the Swedes because they arrested a preacher who stood in his own pulpit and preached what the scripture says about homosexuality. They arrested him, charged him with a crime, so we put out some news releases about that. We turned in on them.
Tell me about
we included the king, and the king got angry about that, and that's how it all started.
Tell me about your church. You have a church with...
Well, I'm a member of the Westboro Baptist Church of Topeka, Kansas.
And do they all believe what you believe?
Yes, absolutely.
They all believe what you believe?
Yes.
And how many members are in this church?
There's about 70 of us.
About 70?
That's right.
And I understand that you say that if you don't belong to that church, that you're going to hell.
Well, no, and I don't even know that. I don't even know that all the people at that church, some of them won't go to hell. Here's the standard. If you don't serve God with all your heart, soul, might, and mind, and obey his commandments, then you're going to hell.
Why choose homosexuals to hate? Why not child molesters or rapists or
all of
somebody
the lesser,
else?
Look. What you're talking about here is degrees of sins and wrongs. You understand that everyone knows that being a child molester is wrong. So you say God hates child molesters. Everyone knows that being a pedophile is wrong. Everyone knows that being a murderer is wrong. The pernicious nature...
But there's still over 533,000 pedophiles in America.
Exactly.
Registered
God hates
sex offenders.
pedophiles.
No, but what I'm saying is they're really, truly preying on children and really, truly attacking children.
Yes.
Why not get on that bandwagon? But why not get on that bandwagon to make that stop?
And many of them are homosexual. We're not interested in trying to stop you from doing your filthy deeds. We're interested in telling you that your sin is taking you to hell, whether you're a pedophile or not.
Why don't you tell everybody, one second, Shirley, why don't you tell everybody what you do for a living?
I'm an attorney.
You're an attorney.
That's right. And for many of the years before I had all those children, my dad, who is an attorney and also the pastor of the Westboro Baptist Church, and I have 12 siblings, 11 of us are lawyers. My dad pioneered civil rights for legitimate minorities in the state of Kansas.
So you're not a racist?
Well, of course not.
Not a racist.
God never said that it was an abomination to be black. He said it was an abomination. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination.
Why, when you start talking about that, do you get angry? Because there's something that starts happening that I just had to calm you down and stop because it was going like this.
Because you don't let me finish my answer.
No, that's not true.
So I have to get the answer out as best I can.
I was letting you speak.
No,
and
you still haven't let me finish answering the first question. I was trying to say, you said, why homosexuality?
Shirley, I have people on this couch every single day talking to me about so many things that they believe in. and they don't come with a certain anger that you have.
It's a zeal. Don't mischaracterize my...
There's one thing that you say. You say that you're against violence, but language incites violence. I see violence all over you.
Yeah, I know, honey.
This is where it starts.
Yes.
Shirley, I know that you say that when a mother has a child that gets killed because of a hate crime, or their son or their daughter is gay, how do you feel about that mother?
How about if you quit trying to make that myopic and microscopic? If you've got a young child who is cut off in their life before it even really gets started, then there is something going on there. That is the same judgment executed by the same God that sent the tsunami and sent knocked down the towers.
So you're saying you don't have no sympathy for
I'm saying
a mother whose
that
child
let's
was
be
killed.
more, what you really mean is why are we standing outside the funerals of these dead soldiers with these signs saying America is doomed? God hates fags, God hates fag enablers, God hates America, America's doomed. What I'm saying about that, those mothers, those parents, they raised those children for the devil. They did not teach them what the Lord their God required of them, and those children were cut off by a raging mad God before their life got started.
And you're angry again.
I'm angry.
Again.
You are doggone right. I'm angry about that.
Angry.
I am so angry that those parents brought the wrath of God down on the head of that child. They didn't even stand a chance.
I just have to pause because this to me feels just crazy. For you to be an attorney, this is insane to me.
What does that have to do with
This is crazy.
What does me being an attorney have to do with the truth of God and my service
when you
and
think
my
attorney,
duty?
you think somebody that has their head on straight, that can represent somebody, that passed the bar.
Exactly.
This is really freaking me out.
And you're acting like that you can go
I'm
along
not
and
going to
live
sit here
like
and
the
fight with you
devil.
on my stage, so please be
cannot
quiet,
live like the
Shirley.
devil. You cannot
Please be
live like the
quiet.
devil.
I'm not going to fight with you, okay? We're not going to go there. We didn't come here to, I didn't come here to do this with you. I didn't come here to do that. Your children are here. Can you be a better, responsible parent?
And why don't you be a good role model?
Talking and get her to shut up, that somehow you're going to change the fact that God's wrath is pouring out upon this nation.
Okay, well, I'm going to burn in hell because, so why don't you guys tell me?
Yes, you are.
Why don't you tell me what I am? One of you guys called me something. What is that?
A fag enabler.
I'm a fag enabler. Tell me what that
Yes,
is.
you are.
You tell me what that is.
Because you want
Why don't you speak?
have
I want
show.
Rebecca to speak. Why don't you talk to me?
Okay, you have this bully pulpit, you have this audience that you can influence, you have so many people that you can influence, and instead of them teaching, you don't teach them God's standards so that they might go to heaven, you teach them your own standard and saying it's okay to be gay when you know
What show
that
are you
they'll
talking
go to
about?
hell.
Tell me what show
if
you're
you do
talking
that.
about. You're talking about America's Next Top Model,
Yeah,
right?
we have.
Have you seen more than one episode of America's Next Top
Yeah,
Model?
actually, we were sick one day, and we actually saw an entire marathon.
Why would you do that? If I hated fags, I would be like, get the fag off the TV. I'm not watching that. That's what I would think.
It's not about their own hate.
That's what I would think.
It's not what goes into a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of him.
But
it's
why
out
would
of your
you?
evil
But
heart.
let me just ask you. Don't preach. I don't want to do the preaching. I don't want to do the preaching thing. I want to talk to you guys. Let me talk to your daughters. They're here and they're over 18. They're adults. I want to talk to you about why you would watch a show like that if you think that people are going to burn and you think it's the biggest sin in the world.
Have you ever seen daytime television? It's
No,
pretty
I want to
boring.
know why you would watch that. I want to ask you, Rebecca. Why would you watch America's Next Top Model if it's so bad?
Well, if you're stuck in a room and you really have nothing to do, you just have to see what's on TV. And that was pretty much the only interesting stuff. It was interesting.
Okay.
But you propagate fag agenda all over it, and you just lie to them to their faces.
You know, it's so funny with you guys. I look at you, two beautiful young girls, and I know that you guys, are you in school? You go to college?
Yeah.
Do you have friends?
Not outside of our church. We have acquaintances.
But you don't have friends.
We don't want to be friends with
They
the people
have
of this world.
friends. She
Our
said not
friends are the
outside
people
of
that
her
serve
church
God.
peers.
Jesus Christ said, who is my mother and
See-
who are my brethren? It's the people that serve God. I don't want to
Okay.
be friends with you. I don't want to be friends with them. I want to be friends with people who love and obey the Lord their God.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, they don't have a hope of going to heaven.
Why are you angry too? Why do you all speak so much about love, but in such a way?
Why do you keep trying to mischaracterize our zeal for something other than
Because
that?
it's really not. If you say that you speak from love and
we are
and
determined
God,
for
let
you
me
to
talk.
hear
No,
us.
you say that I'm cutting you
We're
off. You have cut
determined
me
to
off
hear
10
us.
times, so I would love for you to be quiet right now.
Yeah, well, we're
I
determined
would love
for
for
you
you to be quiet right now.
You ask and you don't let us answer. You don't let us answer.
I cannot fight you on this stage.
No, hon, so just let us
I
answer,
cannot
and then you
fight
can
you on
talk
the
after we're
stage.
done answering.
This is hilarious.